All right, boys, welcome back to another phenomenal episode. Today we are joined by Jacob Hickman. This is Tony's client, and it was a very natural, easygoing, fun podcast. Just a little over an hour, I believe. But we had a really good time going through his performances in the past, his upcoming Cnats performance, and just all around what kind of an athlete he really is and what his mindsets are. Overall, a phenomenal podcast. Definitely worth the listen till the end, and hope you enjoy it. Welcome to Podium Talk. Welcome back to another phenomenal episode of Podium Talk. This is going to be my favorite episode. We have the most handsome guest we've ever had on, Jacob Hickman. Introduce yourself, Jacob.
I'm Jacob Hickman. I'm 20 years old, Georgia powerlifter, junior, of course, in the 82.5 class. Um, what
Yeah,
else? I go
I
to
mean
Georgia
that's
Southern.
yeah, that's good enough for
What's your
now. We'll get
major?
we'll get deeper into it
Oh,
later. Yeah, what's your major?
I'm a nursing major. Almost done
Oh,
with my first semester. Just finished first round of clinicals Tuesday.
Okay.
I don't know what any of that means, but that sounds good for you. But yeah, let's
Somebody
go
out
into
there knows.
let's go into a training recap. Tony, how you been?
Uh, I've been all right. I mean, I've had nothing but like pretty light training recently, so finally starting to touch heavier weights again, which is kind of cool. So yeah, we'll see where it goes, but I'm feeling all right. What about you, Eli?
We're pretty mid overall. We're not
All right.
great. Since we're on the podcast with the two of you, I can expose my CNATS goals. My two goals are to one, not let Tony out total me when he competes at Nats, and then two, not let Jacob out bench me. So those are my two goals for CNATS that I gotta accomplish, and they're not like impressive at all because y'all are three weight classes below me. But I can't let any of that happen, you know. But yeah, Jacob, how you looking in training? You feeling good?
Yeah, so far everything's going as planned. Um, a couple, maybe last block or a couple blocks ago, I did 677 and a half for a all-time training total. And today I just put myself in a 1500 total for the first time ever.
Yes,
Hey.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But yeah, a little behind the curtain, we forgot to mention Tony, his client is Jacob. So coach client confidential basically over here. Had to mention that before we got into it. But let's talk a little bit about your last meet, which was Boro Battle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's kind of
So
jump
I
in that. That's where
believe
you qualified. Talk about that meet for a little bit and how you did.
I, I qualified at state before
Oh, I
that
forgot
as
you,
well.
you were him, but yeah.
Um, at Borough Battle, I think it was a 647 and a half total.
Yeah.
I believe a 512 squat, 358 bench, and 556 deadlift. 8 for 9 on the day, failed my third deadlift, didn't break the floor with it.
I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, it was a attempt at 573, which is funny because at state, like I don't even know how many months previous to that, I my third attempt on deadlift was 584 and I got it like right above my knees and then lost it. But
But yeah, technique, we like
I'm
totally
in a
reconstruct.
much better place right now with my technique.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel it. I feel it.
Yeah.
Before we jump too far into like the present and how training is going now, let's jump way back. Talk about where you came from and what kind of high school and what kind of sports you played at that high school.
So, if we're gonna go way back before high school, the sports that I've done are I did karate as a kid, like 6 years or something. I was young though. I think I stopped at like 13, 14. Um, I played soccer as well. And then I got up to middle school and high school and played football. I was a place kicker. I think the heaviest I got in high school was 160 pounds.
Mm.
Um, Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I tore my quad my junior year. So,
Mm.
Yeah. So we did karate, we did football. Um, well, Eli, you had
Yeah, I mean, so
well,
you say you tore
I
your
didn't mean to
quad kicking.
interrupt.
So what was like, did you have any strength training experience going into high school football, or like did you kind of focus on weights at all? Or like were you just focused on kicking and being better at
yeah,
that?
I mean, my football program wasn't one where like kickers didn't work out. Like I still did everything the team did.
Mhm.
I did all the running. I mean, not during practice, of course, but like if we were working out or in the gym, like the basketball court running, like I did all that as well.
Mhm.
Uh, I think in high school, my squat was 365 right before I tore my quad. And then like 8 months after that, I was barely squatting 300. Um, so
Yeah.
I think my bench, of course, it was nasty touch and go, like butt sky high, like no wrist straps or anything though. I mean, you got to give me some credit, but I think I did three 335 in high school right before I graduated.
Sheesh.
Uh,
Nice. Was that with a
Dang.
good spot though,
and
or was that just all you?
I mean, he didn't help at all. I mean, he lifted it off for me. It was actually, I think, the guy that got me into working out pretty heavy. Um, Shout out AJ. He'll never hear this, but he's one of those ex-military guys, like 6'8", like 280, like absolutely massive. But yeah, he got me into the whole strength training thing.
Mhm.
My first deadlift was my first ever straight bar deadlift was a 350 fail. Um, I believe
Yeah.
so. Yeah, like I failed it at lockout and then
Yeah.
hit 385 like the next week.
Nice.
Um, but
Dude,
yeah,
you just always been him, you fail and you just hit way more than that. I feel you. But so going from like
uh,
football training, soccer training to this military guys training, what kind of training were you doing? Because obviously high school football is like not really weight focused as much as just kind of doing more explosive stuffs
well,
occasionally and trying to get through it.
it wasn't. It wasn't like high school
Yeah.
football. It's not the, I guess, level of lifting that you would see at a college level or anything like that. Like I know some guys at Georgia Southern don't train for strength. Like they train for their recovery purposes or like the longevity of being able to, compete as a football player and not get injured. But
Mhm.
in high school, like we were doing heavy sets of 12 to 10 to 8 to 6. And then I believe we would do like a 3x6. And then like once it once or twice a year we would do a 1 rep max where we'd get 3 attempts on squat and bench. And we never did we did power cleans as well.
Yeah.
Um my power clean was 260 or 265 and
Mhm.
I hyperextended my wrist doing it.
Of course.
Both of them. But
Dang, so you're just an injury queen, man.
yeah, I've been through a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, going past high school, like what I guess made you start taking powerlifting serious then?
You asked me that question knowing that it was you.
I wasn't, I never said it was me.
I
I
got
just
the
want you to explain how you kind of like actually started. You went from the football, like, athlete to a powerlifter. I want you to explain that, man.
Yeah, so I got to Georgia Southern fully involved in like all the rack lifting, like ego lifting, all of it. Like I probably attempted a 500 conventional deadlift like 15 times there. Like,
No, but tell them about the Jefferson deadlifts, man.
oh yeah. Me and one of my friends at the time, we're still friends. We just don't talk as much anymore. Landon Hendricks. We would go to the rack or fit when it was old fit, and we would do Jefferson deadlifts, which is or I believe it's got multiple names, but it's the one where you put the bar between your legs and do it.
Yeah.
And I think the most I ever got was 495 with it.
Yeah. So he was like a
I was a
like
Father Gaines lifter.
yeah, literally, yeah, yeah, like I don't even know, like SSJ Bob before he started powerlifting, like
Doing
doing like
stunt
tricks,
lifts.
like
Yeah.
yeah, stunt lifts, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Jeez.
then yeah, what made you start going like, okay, I'm gonna do this right. I'm gonna do this the right way.
So when I got to Georgia Southern, I was squatting with like some really cheap pair of knee wraps. I'd never seen knee sleeves before. Um, and so I was squatting with the wraps or whatever. And then as I became friends with Tony, Edson, and a few others, they introduced me to like what knee sleeves are. So I had a pair of Stoics for like a solid year, and I would start working out with them and occasionally going to Fit, doing their workouts. I ran the Jamal Browner programs like 3 or 4 different times,
Mhm.
and I actually did one of those leading into state that year that I did it. And well, I mean, it put 50 pounds on my squat, so I can't complain there
Yeah, for
in
sure.
a 3 month program.
Yeah, I did a few of those. I didn't do the Jamal Browner. I did I think it was, there was a push pull one, and then there was an 8 week peak, and I did both of those into my first meet. Kind of nice, honestly.
I
Nice
did
and
a
easy.
10 week.
Power build.
It wasn't power build. Who I can't think of his name. He's got a 600 dot. He's deadlift lord.
Rondell.
What's his?
Rondell,
Yeah,
Rondell Hunt.
Rondell. He had a bench, like a bench only 10 week
Mm.
program, and I did that and got my. I say it was paused. It wasn't really paused. It was like sunk into your chest, sat there a second, and then exploded. And I got to 345 with that.
Mm.
But yeah, I did a bunch of those little cookie cutter programs.
Yeah. And then going from that, or I guess going from this military guy helping you get into training specifically to lift some weights, to then these programs, to then Tony, how do you feel like your progressions have changed with those? Like, I know Tony's training is probably not too far off of the strength studio stuff. It's just a little bit more specific.
I
But
mean, it is kind of far off, to be
yeah,
honest with you.
how do you feel about like the different types of training and where you're at now and how much it has helped you to get a specific coach?
So, as you know, the Jamal Browner programs are just 3 months. They're not block by block. The in the 3 months, I think you did 2 weeks with a top set of five, and then four, and then you slowly go down to like the last week or two doing a single. And so that's all I'd ever known until after state when Tony asked me to be his first client. And then we started doing like block work where, of course, like you have the same top set at a different RPE for a full 4 weeks.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that was a big change for me. I'd never done anything like that. I did ask Tony for a lot of volume and he gave it to me. So I was doing like a 4 by or a top set of 8 and then a 3 by 8 with like SSB. And like I think at the time I was squatting twice, maybe 3 times. I can't remember. Um, but I had a lot going on for me there at the beginning. But Tony's programming has changed a lot as he's grown as a coach, experienced things. So I feel like my training right now is very specialized to me.
Mhm. Yeah, and
Yeah, no,
ultimately,
yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, we did state. Him and I both did state together, under Eagle Power. We were like working like as teammates, under Eagle Power. We won state, and that was great. And then yeah, essentially we just started working together. And he actually had like a pretty bad injury for like the first like 4 or 5 months, of working with me, and it was his groin adductor. So getting past that was pretty tough.
I had
Do
to
you want to
stop
talk a
doing
little bit?
sumo.
Yeah, yeah. So we had to obviously take out sumo. We took out squatting in general, I believe, for a little bit. So he
Hmm.
was literally just doing conventional and bench for like 2 months or something. And then we slowly came back, and that's why obviously I don't want to like point the blame at anything, but I do feel like that was a big reason. Like, not a lot of growth happened between state and Borough battle. Like he just came in and hit his lifts on Borough battle, so his total was a lot better. Um, but from Borough
Yeah, I
battle,
went
you're
5 for 9 at state.
yeah,
I don't
that
think I
was
mentioned that.
yeah, he went 5 for 9 at state. So we finally we're slowly getting better. He like Jacob mentioned, he is my first client, so there was a lot of trial and error there. But
Hmm.
as you're gonna see at Cnats, or if if Jacob wants to mention his numbers, you're gonna see that his numbers have exponentially gotten better. So we're doing something right. But yeah, no, I would say he is definitely, I do program him the most uh different. I definitely give him I give him the
Most
most,
technical.
yeah, like the more special approach to programming than my other ones.
I got
Uh,
you.
but yeah,
So yeah,
yep.
Tony, how confident did you feel when you approached Jacob, or however that confrontation went? You were like, "Let me coach you. I can make you better." Were you confident in your abilities to grow him to what he's going to be at CNATS, or were you kind of just like, "I want to start trying this. Let me test it out on you"?
Yeah, it was literally like I was not very confident at all, and I genuinely thought it was just gonna be like one of those like, oh, like, because I think we've all done that where we've coached a friend or something like that, or and it lasts for a couple months, and then like either they stop powerlifting in general or they just move on to something else. I thought it was gonna be something like that where like Hickman and I would work together for a little while, and I never even really cared to be like a coach seriously. I just figured why not? Like this, my coach at the time had been coaching me for free, and like I was kind of his guinea pig, and that worked out great for me. So I felt like, hey, I know a little bit more than Jacob. Um, let's see if we can figure something out. And then slowly and slowly, I just got more invested into Jacob, and I think he started noticing that. And over time, I it became like it was you really just really want the best for this guy. You really want this guy,
Hmm.
like, figure out how to make him better, how to make him stronger. Like at first it was like, shit, I want him to be able to squat without pain and deadlift without pain again. And then it was, okay, I really want him to show up at this meet and have a good day and come back from his 5 for 9 performance. And then from there it was, okay, I want him to actually like break out at CNATs. And just over those different goals that I've made with him, like every single goal, it's just like I wanted more and more for him. I get more invested, he gets more invested, and yeah. So, but at the start, I won't lie, I was not very confident at all. You know, I feel like now I'm a lot more like confident, and I think Jacob would definitely attest to this with my decisions that I make. I'm willing to take more risks now than I would then, and I'm much more sturdy in like what I give these my clients than I was then. Like back then, I feel like I was a lot more like, Jacob, do you like, is this okay with you? Like, how does this sound for you? Blah blah blah. And I think that's okay. Like, you should definitely get feedback from your athlete for sure. But at the end of the day, like, someone's not paying you, so like you can like give them what they want. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like,
I
so I don't
did
know.
do
I
like
think
the first 6 or 8 months of working with Tony for free. Like he didn't charge me a bit because he wanted that experience as a coach before
Yeah.
he would start charging. Like he wanted to know that his shit worked before he was charging people money.
yeah, for sure. And it took a while before I was comfortable doing that. And but now I genuinely feel like what I give is definitely worth. I do feel like I have much more value now.
Hmm.
But at the start, I won't lie, I was not very confident at all. And I'm so thankful that Jacob, stuck with me and we like worked through everything we did, because there was a lot of trial and error. And looking back, I'm sure there were a lot of things I would have done differently. But
I mean,
there's only one way to learn sometimes, honestly. It's just by application.
there was a
Hmm.
lot that was on me as well. Like my choice for like what my top set was going to be. Like obviously I overshot a lot. Like I failed a lot of lifts, and that wasn't on Tony. That
Yeah.
was me being like a noob. Like I didn't, have the RPE thing down. I didn't have the whole fatigue process down. And so like, although that may have reflected on Tony a little bit, that was me. So like
Yeah.
of course, as coach client, we were in it together and we still are. Like
Hmm.
as he's grown as a coach, like I've grown as a lifter as well. So
I feel
like
Yeah.
you.
there's of course like the reflection of like my lifts reflects a lot better on him now, because we've both grown.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I mean, I don't know. I mean, because we were like good, like we are good friends still, and that's what we were at the start. Like it honestly felt weird being called his coach because like me and him
Yeah,
were like best buddies, so it was weird.
we were
But
friends for like a solid year, year and a half, almost
yeah,
two
yeah,
maybe.
like we like regular friends, like going out drinking together, like
Hey,
doing.
I didn't participate in any drinking, bro. I'm not 21.
Okay, my bad, my bad. Jacob would come and watch and designate. He would DD a lot.
Yeah.
He would keep the homies
But
safe.
no, it's been a really good experience, man. Like, but at the start, man, it was a little rocky, which I think first he was literally my first client, literally. So
Hmm.
but now I'm a lot more confident when going into Cnats. If we were going into Cnats at the level I was, I would be like shitting myself right now. Like, but right now I'm like, ever since January, like since we kind of started figuring out the goals we wanted to set for ourselves, I was like, okay, Jacob, we could do this. We could do this, and then these goals actually ended up evolving, and I
Yeah,
want
I
to,
was about to say we're well past the goal that we had initially set.
yeah.
Hmm.
So we need to start getting into that,
Yeah.
Eli.
For sure. Let me go through a few more things before we dive into where we're going to be at in next week. That is crazy. We're a week away. But you mentioned back when we were still talking about it, you have a lot of injuries, or you've had a lot of injuries that you've recovered from. What are some things that you help to recover from those, or prehab, so you don't reactivate it or re-aggravate any of those?
So, of course, I took warming up a whole lot more serious,
Mhm.
uh, as the injuries started to fade away. Part of that was rehab, part of that was prehab, avoiding injuries by warming up, taking it seriously, not doing stupid lifts, like doing, not like, going for a top set, failing it, and then reattempting it. Like I
Yeah.
learned my lesson. Don't lift like you're a gym kid. You're pointing at me on my screen.
Okay. Well, on the recording, I'll be pointing at Tony.
But yeah, so taking my warm up a lot more seriously. I'm still not the best about stretching outside of the gym. Of course, like, when I feel tight, I'll stretch, but I could always be better about it.
Mhm.
Um, of course, I can't even remember when, but at one point I started taking my diet a whole lot more seriously,
Yeah.
which it's not as good as it once was right now, but
Hmm.
I feel
I feel
like
that.
I feel I've got it down pretty well, and I know what I need to do whenever I decide to get back into doing it like that. It's just finding time for the right diet is a little difficult right now.
Yeah, I feel that for sure. Being in school, and obviously, I think you in nursing, you kind of have to apply yourself a little bit more outside of school than what I'm doing. But
I also
I,
drive an hour to school every day. Like I live in Statesboro, but I'm on the Armstrong campus in Savannah. So
mm,
4 days a week, I'm driving at 6 a.m. to go to my classes.
I got you. I'm finna be out there in Savannah tomorrow. But yeah, on that topic of nutrition, what other variables do you control, whether it's sleep, water, like you said, diet? We kind of covered recovery, but if you do any like specific, walking after your lifts or the bike or a sauna, anything like that, what all do you control, or you try to keep dialed in prep or out of prep?
So um, you said nutrition, so I'll throw this in there. Creatine is a big one. Uh,
Hmm.
I take like 10 grams of creatine a day. Um, And I always felt like the 5 gram just wasn't enough. Like I feel like a 100-pound guy isn't gonna take the same 5 grams that Chris Bumstead would. Um, and maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong about that, but I feel like 10 grams helped. I would do uh, some back when I would have knee pain, I would do like leg extension holds. And right now I've started before my primary days, like walking like maybe a half mile on the treadmill before I start warming up, stretching. And I feel like that helps. It gets my body warm before I go into a stretch.
Hmm.
Uh, and I like that personally. Some people don't. And sometimes I'll jog too. I think
Yeah.
I sprinted last week, but of course, powerlifter sprinting just
Yeah.
doesn't work out so
No,
well.
no need to sprint. Yeah, Tony goes on his walks because he's got old grandma knees and he can't handle anything. He walks backwards up, or he walks backwards down the stairs to make sure he doesn't fall over. But yeah, us dive into the fun stuff. Let's jump into Cnats. Started with just what are you looking forward to outside of performances, production wise, whether it's the warm-up room, the scene, the audience, your friends being there. What are you most looking forward to?
I think, to be honest with you, the thing I'm looking forward to the most is meeting all these guys I'm seeing on Instagram, like Jackson Evans, Austin Hutchison,
Hmm.
Easton. I'm probably forgetting somebody that's very important, and I text Matt Albazad. I've met him, um, and like a few others. And if I don't say your name, I'm sorry. I still want to meet you, but like my competition is what comes to mind.
Yeah. So you're excited to get out of your little hole and actually be present in the space in person for fun.
Yeah, like throw my name out there a little bit, like
I got
get to
you.
meet all these people that are well into the sport.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
feel you. And then go straight into what kind of lifts are you looking to hit? What kind of goals have you set, or both of y'all have y'all set to hit on the day if you want to share them?
I mean, I'll share them. I don't feel like it should come as a surprise. Uh, I would like top end a 700 key total, and that would be a 551 squat or 250 kg, a 385 bench. Uh, I think that's like one
180 or 172?
175 maybe,
Yeah.
something like that. And then a 606 deadlift,
Very nice.
which that would put me right on the dot at 700.
Hmm.
But of course, like if I don't hit that, I'm not going to be, upset about it. I still want to do as best as I can. I actually
Yeah.
told Tony today, like if 700 isn't there, like if my subtotal needs to be 66 or 6 for 6. Like I'm a subtotal guy. My deadlift
Yeah.
is growing, but like I mean, it's just me as a lifter. My squat and bench kind of carry.
Yeah,
So
definitely your bench, because I mean I'm competing against you 3 weight classes above me because all the people in my weight class just bench so much. I don't want to compete with them. But for real. Yeah, I mean, how does it feel, coach client time right now? How does it feel? Like if you put up that total, you're most likely going to be one of the best USAPL 82 junior or collegiate level. So how does it feel
in
knowing that
Georgia, I believe that would put me at first
yeah,
for collegiate 82 junior.
that's what I figured.
Of
But
course, like
how does it
that's
feel
if I
being
was.
with Tony, your direct opposition? If you hit that 700 kg, I think you're what would you hit? 710?
He hit 707 and a half, and I keep reminding him that if we throw a silver on all of those, goals that I have, I've caught him
Yeah.
temporarily.
Temporarily, but still. So how does that feel knowing that your direct op is coaching you and could sabotage you at any moment?
We talked about that actually. So, um, if it comes to the third pull and I'm about to take his total from him, then he's gonna load me up for like a 300 key deadlift or something.
And you're gonna hit
Like,
it too, aren't you? You're gonna
I
pull that.
mean, if I could, I would.
I feel you.
Oh man, I mean, well, I mean, if we're talking about that, like, because I feel like that is like always like an interesting thing if you look at like somebody getting coached by somebody in their weight class or something. Um, as far as I see it, Jacob and I have always been like relatively like in range of each other. Like it's never like I've been like drastically like grotesquely stronger than him. Of course, I've been stronger than him, but like it's always been like, like dude. I mean, look at Jacob's bench. Like his bench is like 30 keys higher than mine. It's always been like that. It's never been like I just totally stomp him, and there was
I
no
was
chance in hell.
there. I think I was the spotter. Yeah, I was. I was yelling at you, and your TikTok blew up from it when you hit two reds for the first.
270. Yeah, I hit 265 for the first time with him. I hit 275 the first time with him. Like he's been a part of my story as much as I've been a part of his. Um, so I feel like there's no malice or any kind of like I genuinely can say that. Like I feel like I'm a very competitive person, but if anybody's gonna be better than me, I mean, of course I wanted to be. I guess that I don't.
Mhm.
I hope that doesn't come out weird, but of course I want that to be my client. Like I don't know. Like I would never sit there and be like, ooh, Jacob, like you're about to, I don't know. I just feel like I want the best for him. I want the best for all my people. I love it whenever Jacob has a big week or I handle somebody else at a meet, like they go 9 for 9 and people are like, man, you're doing a great job with them. Like, I love that. I don't know. That makes me feel really, really nice. So, um, I don't know, man. I feel like Jacob trusts that I would never do anything to get in his way, even though I guess technically at one point I was fourth in the state, I think, and you were fifth, I think.
I think you were third, and I was fifth, or maybe even you were second. I can't remember, but I definitely placed fifth at state that year. Or
Yeah.
unless,
Well,
no. Do you mean like the record, like the database?
yeah, that like total
Overall.
because
Yeah. So for like junior 82 all time Georgia database, I believe it's Gerald Scott, Sion I
yeah,
think his name, and then
Dion,
Tony, and then what's the guy? I think he goes to UGA. Tyler
Tyler,
Lester.
yeah, Tyler
Oh,
Yeah,
Lester,
and
yeah.
Turner.
then it was me.
Yeah. So either way, in the rankings, like me and him have always been pretty close. But nah, man, it's definitely like genuinely, it's like all love, man. Like, yo, I mean, well, I guess people on the podcast don't know, but my friends know who I size myself up against. So I mean, if Jacob comes out and hits 707, I would be pretty good. I'd be pretty like fuck, but hey, I'd be very happy, bro. I'd be on the platform losing my voice when he's hitting that third pull, regardless if it's because at one point the goal was to what it was to beat my state total at 687. Um,
Hmm.
and he's well past that now. Like we both of us know that we can definitely do that. And I was older than him when like so to me, I already see Jacob like one day he's gonna outdo whatever I do as a junior.
Yeah.
So I don't really care. I'm proud of the guy, I love the guy, but enough of me. I feel bad I keep talking, but
You keep on
uh
rambling. But yeah, keep talking about Cnats. Let's go into like your dream of a day. You said 700 kg, top end. That'd be a dream of the day. How do you want to take that W? Do you like when you think about your opposition being Jackson and Hutchison, do you like hope they have the best day they can have and then you just excel,
Of course.
in that range? I
Like
think you're probably going to be 10 keys above what they're probably thinking in their head.
if we all three go 9 for 9, perfect day, like it would be ideal that I come out on top. Like it's not, guaranteed by any means. Like they're very
Yeah.
strong. And they have lifts that just blow mine out the water. Like Austin's squat, like I think he doubled or tripled more than I just hit today for a 1 rep max. And then there's Jackson who pulls well over my max.
Hmm.
So like, and they still like, they're squat and bench. We're all like in range of each other. Like
Yeah, I feel you.
I like to believe that 9 for 9, all of us perfect day, I come out on top. And it's just, that's my own self bias. Like
Yeah.
who knows? Jackson could come out and pull 661 or something, and then like completely demolish whatever I get. Or
Mhm.
Austin, if he goes in there and then squats 600, like it's going to be pretty hard for me to beat that. And
Yeah.
so, but my training has been going really well. I don't know too much about, well, either of theirs. And I know that Austin already had his podcast, but Jackson still hasn't. And I
Mhm.
don't want to speak for him on his training. We text occasionally. But like I said, like if I want all of us to go 9 for 9, the strongest we
Yeah.
can be, because if I'm gonna win, which like I said, it's a possibility, it's not guaranteed. I want to be at my best, stronger than their best. I don't want to see them go 6 for 9, 7 for 9, 8 for 9, and then I win. Like I want it to be as competitive as possible.
I got you for sure.
Yeah,
And then
because
outside of
obviously,
state, are you looking at any of these national guys to like, are you comparing yourself against any of them? Or like, do you know what kind of rank you're going to fall in against the whole, how many 82s are there? There's like 100 something.
There's like 70 or 80,
So do you know
and
where you're
like
going to fall
I
in that lineup?
may place top 10. Like
That'd be pretty solid then.
there's one guy with like I think a 750 total as a QT.
Hmm.
So like obviously I'm not touching that. And there's plenty of guys whose QTs are like well above mine. And I don't know when their meet was. Like their meet could have been the same time as mine or previous to when mine was,
Yeah.
and their QT was higher. So I mean, obviously they have a head start. Not a head start, but they're just stronger. Um, so like top 10 would be nice. I don't
Mhm.
see myself getting top 5. There's just too many outliers in
Yeah.
82. Like there's some really strong guys.
And you're on the bottom end of this competition being 20 and how many semesters into college are you?
I mean, I'm in my junior 1 semester as a nursing student, but I think I'm in my sixth. No, not sixth. Yeah, sixth semester,
Hmm.
seventh,
yeah,
one of the two. I don't know,
six,
but
yeah,
And how many
like
years
I
do you
got
have
into
left?
nursing school a semester
I got you.
later than other people. So
Mhm. And how many semesters you got left?
I'll
Approximately.
graduate in December of 25.
Okay, so you could hypothetically still have one more CNATs to go to and still dominate there if you stay, but we'll talk about that later. Let's just talk. So this will be your third meet or
Yes.
yeah, okay. So third meet, you're already on a national level. We know it was easier than it should have been to get here. Like the totals were pretty low, especially for you. You could have hit higher than that, obviously. But how does it feel to already be on a national stage at your third meet at 20?
I'm very grateful.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without all the people that have supported me or uh, been with me on the way. There's lots of them too. Like
Yeah,
Tony
definitely.
he's a big one. He's been my coach for over a year now. But like I said, like he was the main person who got me into powerlifting. And if you had asked me 2 years ago, like, could I see myself competing at a national meet? Like, I probably would have said no.
Mhm.
Like, I just didn't, at the time think that I would be anywhere strong enough.
Definitely. And then you said you were grateful, but what does competing at CNAT specifically mean to you? Like, how much does it mean to you to go out there and have a good performance and have a good show? And then, like you said, this is kind of a breakout meet for you because you did states and you were there, and a lot of people met you and saw you. And then you did the borough battle, and that was kind of a lower meet, not streamed, not really publicized. Now, this is your step on the big stage. It's a national meet. You're going to meet all these people that have been hearing about you, saying, like, oh, who's this guy? Who's this guy? He's in the shadows a little bit because you don't post too much. That's going to change after CNATs. We know that. But what does this mean to you to get that exposure and to actually be able to compete alongside so many good athletes?
It's gonna feel nice. To be honest with you, I feel like I deserve to be there now. Like I've been very strict about my training. Like I'm not the typical college kid at Georgia Southern anyway. I know other schools are the college kids are probably better off as students. But at Georgia Southern, like the idea is like you party all the time. And I was never very big into that. And whenever I got into powerlifting, like that gave me a reason not to be,
Hmm.
because I always wanted to grow as a powerlifter. So it's gonna feel nice and uh, an
Yeah,
accomplishment for sure to be on that national stage, competing against guys who are way stronger than me. Like, I mean, Tony's stronger than me for sure, but there's guys at 82 at this Cnats that are stronger than him.
yeah. Well, I love how you said that you feel like you deserve to be there, man. Because no, it's like it's been crazy, like a crazy ride. Like you said, it started off like you were like a crazy big ego lifter. Like I remember, and you like everything about you was like it was so like just young boy getting into the gym, like no idea what's going,
Boy,
like his diet. I think all he ate was like Pop Tarts and like I remember in your dorm room you had like nothing but like just like candy
Junk.
and like
Well, it
yeah,
wasn't candy. I wasn't ever a big candy eater, but it was not good food. Like
yeah,
it was nasty. And I went to Landrum a lot and Lakeside, of course, and like
just
I would eat their
pizza,
subs, pizza, like
yeah.
nothing for me. Like they would have grilled chicken there, and I would walk the opposite direction. Like
Yeah, he didn't eat. He literally like was just a kid, like a boy that just yeah played video. Yeah, you played video games, and it's it started like that, and then slowly, just over time, you started getting more serious about the program. And I want to say like me, you, and like three other people were like the only ones on like an actual dedicated program at the time. So he finally started locking in his training more, and then slowly uh started he just never would go out. Like we'd be begging him to come out, never would go out, never would do anything like that. Uh Eventually, like you said, he started eating better too. I remember he used to eat canned chicken.
yeah, dude. I'll give you the recipe for it right now.
Oh my
Get the,
god,
the
dude.
box of Great Value minute rice, the white rice, a cup of that in a bowl, put a cup of water in it, throw it in the microwave, 3 minutes and 45 seconds, take it out, drain the can of chicken, put it in there, mix it up, and then microwave it another 50 seconds, and then put hot sauce on top. And that was
Yeah,
my meal like every day for like a year and a half.
yeah. So I'm getting Snapchats every day, and he's like taking pictures of his meal. Uh And yeah, man, just like slowly just getting like being more mature. And then obviously a bigger step to that, like he said, even when he was on program, he started realizing, the cost of fatigue and his patterns and how he can't just go heavy all the time.
Yeah,
And how,
and
yeah, just being realistic and being like, because everybody, I think that's a big issue with a lot of like lifters nowadays. It's just if you're not getting stronger immediately, it's not your fault, it's somebody else's fault. You need to change something on your program, or you need a new equipment, whatever it is. Sometimes, bro, like you get that PR, you're probably not going to get another one for another half a year. It
I want to talk
just
about that a little bit as well.
okay.
So, uh, since I've been with Tony, I would say in like the last like 6 to 8 months, my jumps between the weeks have changed drastically. And I know that this guy will never hear that, but I watched Lucky or Alex Luco and watched a lot of his lifts and like followed his stories, and he would talk about his jumps. And I was thinking to myself, like, this guy is like one of the best in the world. Like, he's got to have a reason behind doing this. Like his jumps, he would start maybe 200 pounds below what he wanted to end with in a 4 week block.
hmm,
And so like those big jumps, it made me wonder like why is this guy doing that? Because as a junior power lifter, most guys make 10 key jumps between each week. Like that is the common thing. Like throw a white on there for the
Throw a
next
green,
jump
throw a
set.
yellow, throw
Yeah,
a
yeah,
blue. Yeah,
exactly. And so of course I started out doing that as well. And I learned that it did not help me to do that. So now I start my block considerably lighter than what I want to end with. And then like my jumps aren't necessarily to the RPE. Like my week one, it's not going to be RP6. Like it might feel like an RP6, but it's not going to be RP6. So like let's say on squat, for example, I could maybe get like 475, give or take 10 pounds for 5 reps, which is the equivalent of like an RP 10, of course.
Mhm.
But if I were to start out a single block with like 475, 485, then I'm screwed by the time I get to my week 4. Because
Yes.
475 at RP6, although it may be RP6, it's way too heavy to start out a block with. Like,
Yeah.
so my I start out my blocks with pain, fatigue, and maybe a couple other things factored into it. So this specific singles block, it was either RP 5.5 or 6, and I did 419. I could probably get like 8 or 9 good reps with that. So like obviously that's not like if I were to rep that out, that would be less than RP 5.5 or 6 for a single.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where, obviously the idea of RPE and reps in reserve, obviously they like separate. Like they're not the same. They're
Mhm.
very they're very different in that. And I think Jacob did a great job explaining that. Just because you can hit a number at a given RPE, because maybe 1 week forward you hit, like Jacob said, 474 for 5. So you think you should start with that. You're gonna know, like, if Jacob started week 1 with 474,
I
I
don't
think
think that may like that was like close to my week 3.
literally. So it's
Like,
like, I don't know, man. Yeah, like I love that, you matured over the time, man, because a lot of people can't sit there and comfortably hit a week 1 squat 130 pounds lighter than their PR. Even though,
yeah.
especially if you squat 700, if you squat 650, six
Yeah.
hundred, like, yeah,
Pinky
like,
jumps would murder you.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the stronger you get, like, you need to, yeah, man,
Space out
like,
those jumps for sure. And
pace
like
yourself.
it's very consistent for me. Like I can't remember the last time that I failed a week forward. Like it was, of course, like within like 6 months, but that was also when I was starting to learn this whole jump to jump, week to week thing. So like in the last, given time that I've been taking my training the way that I haven't been failing. Like
Yeah.
it's made my top end a lot more consistent to the number that I want.
Yeah. He's been really good about it. I mean, I know you missed a couple, I think you missed a bench, like a double, and you missed
Yeah, I missed a 375 double.
which was like, just that would have been the biggest set. Obviously, that's such a big. His PR is 380, so 375 for a double was huge. But
And
Yeah.
I
that
hadn't
was,
even hit 380 at that time. Like that would have been,
yeah,
a 2 rep max at my max.
yeah. So I mean, obviously nobody's perfect, and even Lucky, like Lucky, literally just failed a set the other day. So it's like, of course, he still misses lifts. Like, we're not saying to take big jumps, he'll never miss a lift,
Yeah.
but he's gotten a lot better, man. And that, to wrap it all up for what I have to say, I genuinely do think, of anybody deserves to be a Cnats, man, it's Hickman. Because, and maybe that's me being biased because I've seen it all. But bro, like, if you know what goes on at Southern and you look at all the other guys that come in and come out of the sport and have reasons to not do it, and reasons to, skip sessions and whatever it is, like, at all those guys, especially in Southern, I'm not going to speak for any other school because I know a lot of other guys try a
Yeah,
lot.
like schools are different.
Yeah, but at least from what I see at Southern, Hickman for sure deserves to be there more than anybody on that team right now. I'll say that because, I mean, dude, he's been through injury, he's been through sickness, he's been through nursing fucking school. Uh, Nursing school, man. Like, if you know, you know. I was like nervous. I was like, this might take Jacob away from powerlifting.
Yeah, there was a time going into nursing school that I told Tony I might not be able to compete at CNATs. Like, if I know that like nursing school is going to be extremely difficult for me, and I've handled it really well so far, minus, one test. But yeah, like there was a solid chance that I wasn't going to compete at CNAT. So that's another reason I'm blessed to be in the position that I'm in, having great grades while going through the biggest meet prep of my life. Like, I'm
Yeah.
appreciative of that.
Yeah, no,
For
you
sure.
definitely deserve it, man. I keep telling him, like every PR we get, man, we earned it because there was there was a good chunk of time where Jacob was not PRing,
Yeah.
and we could not figure it the fuck like on anything. It was like, damn, man. But hey,
Yeah, I hit 507 for my peak week for state, and then never hit another lift above that until my third
borough
attempt at
battle,
pro battle.
yeah,
And that was 512. That was literally 5 pounds above what I had done in February.
yeah. So,
And
but I
that meet
mean,
was October. So
yeah. So I mean, I'm sorry, Eli. I know I'm talking. I know I'm messing up your prompt,
I
man,
mean,
but
dude, this makes it more of an interesting podcast when it's more natural. Y'all are communicating. We get to see what y'all's relationship is like. We get to see the truth behind the training, the struggles, what everything means. So when we watch you on that platform, we can see what you went through to get there and put up that 700 kg total on your second attempt. And then you pull to beat Tony, and it's going to be magnificent. It's going to be beautiful. All right. Let me just tell
that
you that.
that would be really nice, but that's not happening.
We'll see. We'll see. You never know. But so let's say, you go out there, you had the performance of your life. Where do you see yourself post CNATs? Like, as far as it's like taking some time off of competing and just grinding again, focusing on nursing, or is it looking at a different meet in the future?
So I talked to Tony about this on the phone the other day. Um, in nursing school, the way that everyone describes it, there's 4 semesters at Southern. So your first one is, difficult, and then it gets far more difficult in semesters 2 and 3. And if, you know, a meet prep is difficult for me to handle right now when I'm only in the first semester, it's going to be 10 times worse for me by the time I'm in my J2 or S1 semester of that program. So, and there's not really any meets that appeal to me. Of course, not every meet has dropped out or, been shown available yet. And maybe there will be one. And maybe over the summer, I could do one because there's no school over the summer. Um, but I think putting my head down, getting to work, really handling what I have to for school would help me out a lot because,
Mhm.
I believe next semester I have 2 8-hour clinicals a week and then 3 or 4 classes a week as well. So that's going to leave me like hardly any time for powerlifting because powerlifting takes a good 2.5 hours a day at 4 or 5 days a week. I'm on 5 right now. Um, and if it doesn't take you 2.5 hours, you're probably skipping something.
yeah,
Yeah.
Or you're just like literally not talking to anybody, being, rude to people when they walk up to you, or, like Eli not having any friends at the gym.
Hey, yo, that ain't nice.
I'm
He
just
said he was going
kidding.
to come on
I'm
here and
just
be a nice guy. But no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I try not to make friends so I can lock in. But you know how it be. Tony knows when Tony's at the gym with me, I act like I hate him. And I get there at
that's so
three.
not. He's so lying. He's lying so
yeah.
fucking much right now.
Every time I've lifted with Tony, I've got there like 45 minutes before him just so I could get locked in and do my things before him so I can mess around with him.
I was about to
Um,
say, well, Tony would show up late half the time back then whenever we would all go to fit together. Like he would say, like, hey, let's go to fit at 3. And then it would be 3:45 or 4 before he walks in. And then he's got a 30-minute warm up to do.
mhm.
And like I would be done with my workout by the time he's hitting his top set, which that also happens on my Monday and Tuesday lifts with like uh Zerlot, Will,
Chris,
Sean. Yeah. Well, Chris goes really late. So I
Yeah.
don't even see Chris. And then Tristan as well when he would go. Um, I haven't seen him in like a week or two, maybe. I don't
yeah,
know.
man. Tristan, hit me up, man.
He's
Hopefully he sees this.
his his head is in the right place. He's focusing on school, and that's something that I can completely respect because school is not easy, especially not when you want to take a prestigious career.
I feel that for
I'm
sure.
not saying that the people who have it easy aren't in prestigious careers, but um,
It's
You're
like
okay,
gonna get some, you're
Jacob.
gonna
It's
get some hate
okay.
for that.
I know that Tristan is working his ass off in school right now. So
Yeah, I got you. I got you. So let's kind of as we wrap things up now, we're at around an hour already, and it was a
Really?
light hour too. But we'll still like give you a few more minutes to kind of get your thoughts out. But so let's go. What are your inspirations? Like, why do you do what you do? Not even generically inside the sport, but just like why do you do all this hard work, or what motivates you to do what you do? Because this is not the easiest road you could take. You could just slide by school doing nothing. But why do you take it the hard way?
Um, so that's kind of the way I was, raised. If I'm gonna do something, I want to do it to the full extent. I don't want to go in to anything and half-ass it. It's, I worked in high school, and that's what I learned through that. I'm working now at Fit Statesboro. I don't go to work and then, you know, drag my ass across the floor. Like, I like to make every moment count in the 3 hours that I'm there working. So the
Mhm.
same thing applies to powerlifting. Like, if I'm gonna powerlift, I don't want to be, who I was when I got to the rack for the first time. Like, I want to do everything the right way. And that's what you see with pros. Like, pros are pros because they do things the right way. Like, of course,
Mhm.
there's going to be like outliers who start out a whole lot stronger than anybody else, but like, there's no one who came into this sport and like immediately became a pro while not, living like a pro, like acting like a pro, lifting like a pro. So, like, I just want to do the best I can in anything I do.
Hell
Which, of
For
yeah.
course, like,
sure.
I'm human, so sometimes I'm, not the best at it, but I try.
Mhm. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And then all that was like you giving everything you have to powerlifting, putting your all in it. What has powerlifting done for you in return for doing all that? Like I know you've made a wealth of friends. You have Fit is where you work, and you have that community, which is a phenomenal community. But what all has powerlifting done for you throughout this so far? I don't even know. Like how many years you've been powerlifting? A year and a half? 2 years?
Just about, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I mean, I've been lifting for a lot longer than that, but powerlifting maybe two. No, I don't know. Um, Sorry, what was the question again?
What has powerlifting done for you in your life?
Okay. Um, it's given me a standard to live by. Like, every single day that I have to work out is a day that, like, I'm not gonna sit on my butt being lazy. Like, there's been plenty of times when I want to like stay home and play the game, or I feel like I need to study, but like, it adds priority to my day, whether it's, getting a meal in, like a good healthy meal at the beginning, middle, and end of my day, or, coming home from school and, I need to work out. It gives me something to occupy my time, and it's productive. Like, I really enjoy the sport. I enjoy lifting just as much as, anybody else who's this deep into it. Um, like, everybody loves it. If you say you hate it, why are you doing it? There's no
Yeah.
reason to. It doesn't provide you with anything except your own health, happiness. Um, but yeah, it's done a lot for me. Like you said, it's given me a lot of friends. I did come to college and I only had a couple of friends, and ever since I started working out, I met a lot of people. I met my girlfriend through the gym, and that's been going on for a while now. She doesn't power lift or anything, but I mean, still,
I feel you.
Yep.
I feel
Shout out
you.
like,
Daryl.
if I, yeah, her name is Daryl. She's 23 years old. She's about to graduate in a couple weeks.
Nice.
So,
Sheesh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, as we kind of wind things down here, we got the three questions. Ask everybody. Advice to a newer lifter. I assume I know what it's going to be because we kind of talked about some things earlier, but what kind of advice would you give to a lifter who's just trying to get into powerlifting now?
to be honest with you, trial and error is such a big thing in powerlifting. I don't suggest getting a coach in the very beginning. Like, I think that you need to,
Gain
figure this out for
experience.
yourself, see if you really like it. Yeah, get experience. I didn't have a coach for like the first like 2 years of me lifting, and then like maybe 5 or 6 months into powerlifting. and I think I'm pretty, in a good spot right now. And
Yeah.
I think making mistakes is the best thing that you can do. And I know that sounds bad and off the top of your head, but you learn from mistakes. So
Hmm.
like I've made plenty of mistakes in powerlifting, and I feel like I'm a lot more productive of a lifter now, having gone through
Yeah.
those mistakes, injuries, whatever. But like I said, trial and error. Just work out, make your own program, go follow some random program that you see someone do, work out with people. Just put yourself around people that have the same goals as you, and eventually you will find your spot in this sport.
I feel you. And then kind of mentioned mistakes there. I would say there's two types of mistakes. There's mistakes that you can grow from, and there's mistakes that really hurt you, like getting injured, like loading way too much on a squat and getting it dumped on you and stuff like stupid stuff
Well,
like that. But
okay, yeah.
so
So,
that goes into this next question of what mistakes that you've made would you warn people not to make? So not the good ones that you learn from, but the one where you're like, this would
well,
not benefit you
you
at
learn
all.
from all mistakes, in my opinion. Like I've failed my fair share of lifts, like a lot of lifts. And I like to believe that I've learned from them. I've been injured from a lot of lifts, and I've done my fair share of dumb lifting. I think, you know, try and have a little bit of logic to your weight selection. Don't just say, "Oh, I'm feeling good today," and then load 50 more pounds than what you've ever done. Like
Yeah.
that's probably not going to work out, and that might lead to an injury. But warming up is another big one. Like I made that mistake when I first got into lifting. Uh, I didn't warm up, and the load management was bad on my part, so that led to injury.
I got you.
So, load management and warming up, rehabbing, prehabbing, that sort of thing. I feel like that's something that someone
Yeah.
needs to, learn how to do.
Yeah, in high school football, they call those the no talent needed, the things you can do
Oh,
without even being good, right?
mm.
Yes, sir. So finishing it off, technique tip. I specifically want to know a bench technique tip. How can we bench like you, Jacob?
Okay. So, in all the time that I've known Tony, he would ask me this same question, like thinking that there's some magical, tip that I could give him that would blow his bench up. And there's really not. Like, I'm a firm believer, uh, if your lift isn't going up and you're not injured, you should do it more. Like I've learned
Frequency.
that with squat. I squat 3 times a week now. And for the entirety of the time that I was doing twice a week, my squat just wasn't improving. And so we decided, just add another day. It's not a technique change. My technique is still the same.
Hmm.
So I squat 3 times. And at the
Yeah.
time when I first started, I was benching 3 times a week. Now I'm benching four. Um, Technique though, I don't I don't have the biggest arch on bench. I'm not one of those people that can. Uh, I don't know. I just feel like I've been blessed. It's like somebody who has long arms. Like they're probably going to be good at deadlift.
Yeah.
I have, I have the bench build. I've been called a mini Pekka, like 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 one of the Trin twins, but like without the Trin. So
Okay.
Supposedly, allegedly. Yeah, for sure, for sure. And that kind of wraps us up here. Over an hour, nice and easy, light podcast. You're really easy to talk to. I've never had a long form conversation with you like this. You've been phenomenal. But to wrap us out, any shout outs you want to give to anyone who maybe is looking for a coach or anything?
um, I mean, I want to give shout outs, but not for like a coach. I think that if you want a coach, Tony would be a good fit. Eli, I'm sorry, I don't know what your programming is like. I
No, I don't
can't
want. I don't
recommend
want. I
you.
don't want people.
But I think that Tony really puts the time and effort into it. And I don't know, he knows his stuff, and that's really big for a coach. And he's very willing to work with you over things, make changes, that sort of thing. Like what I'm doing now versus what I was doing my very first block with him is insanely different. Like
Mhm.
it's not the same thing. And like I don't know, that's just something that you want in a coach. And he's responsive for sure. I don't know
Yeah.
how he is with his other clients because Tony and I were friends before it was a coach client thing. So we would talk before he was my coach, but we still talk pretty much every day. And he responds relatively quickly. And he all okay, every single time that I'm on a week 4 or have a big lift, he'll tell me like the day before or the day of, like, hey, like I'm gonna be at work, but I'm gonna try my hardest to have my phone on me. So like if you send me your last warm up, I can give a little critique or tell you what he thinks I should load. And he's always been able to do that. And some people can't because of their job, but Tony makes that effort to try. I don't know if he's ever gotten in trouble for being on his phone, but yeah. Other shout outs though, I would like to shout out all these Georgia 82s and the guys that have been working with me at Fit. I work out with Hunter occasionally, Shadera occasionally, Josh Zerlot, Will, Tristan, Chris, just all those guys, Sean Watley, like everybody who goes to Fit. Like it's a tight knit group. Like we don't like I don't hang out with them outside of the gym for the most part, but whenever I'm in there, whenever I'm inside Fit, I feel like they're my family there, and so that's good. As for the 82s, I want you to show up. I love it. This shit makes me happy. So show up with your best game and
Hell
let's make
yeah.
it the most fun meet I've ever been a part of. I can't say for anyone else, but I
Show
want
him
to
the
meet
cigar.
people. What'd you say?
Show him the cigar.
Yeah, I got a little cigar waiting
Whose
on me.
name is on there? Whose
I'm
name
not
is?
writing a name on there.
He's smoking that Austin and Jackson pack.
Oh no, don't
Uh-oh.
say all that. Don't say all that. But that's just something I'm gonna enjoy after Cnats. Of course, I haven't drank much or anything like that. Actually, I'm 20. I don't drink at all. But in this prep, none of that. So, but yeah, I want to see these guys. Like, I feel like we could be friends, as well as competitors. Uh, I like to see other people grow because it makes you grow. Like, I don't get upset when I see Austin squat something insane or Jackson pull something insane. Like it makes me happy. Like I want to see that. Uh,
Hmm.
like I want them to do their best as well.
Yes,
And of
sir.
course, like I don't live in that area, so I can't go work out with them all the time. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I feel you for sure. But yeah, phenomenal podcast. It was great. We had you on. We're running way over.
Plug your socials.
uh,
Okay, so
uh,
his social's going to be going off post CNAT. He's going to post. Go hit the social right now. See his week 4 recap. What is it?
uh, so by the time that this video is uploaded, I should have my peak week block posted a little recap. So today I did a 540-pound squat. It was enjoyable. It was a grind. Absolutely loved it. I sunk the crap out of it. I was probably like 2 or 3 inches under depth, like under parallel. And well, my bench, 369 today. It's what I doubled last block. Tony and I are taking a little bit different approach with bench because we've, figured something out. Like if I unload the tank, I might not recover from it.
Mhm.
And although my 369 looked like it was, the entire tank that was unloaded, I feel like after this taper week, I'm going to have a good bit more to show. And then tomorrow, of course, this is recorded on a Thursday. I deadlift on Fridays. I think he gave me 573 to 578, and my PR right now is 584. So that's right there with it.
Mm-hmm.
So not unloading the tank on deadlift as well. Hopefully not. Anyway,
Yeah, I
hope it
got you.
goes
Yeah.
smoothly tomorrow.
For sure, for sure.
Jacob.
So my social
Yeah.
is, or my Instagram is Jacob_SBD.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, it's been a
Right
phenomenal
here,
time.
best.
Tony, you gonna keep this thing going?
Yes, sir. Best 82 collegiate fucking power lifter in Georgia. Jacob Hickman, stamping right there.
We're
I'm
gonna
talking
see,
his shit
bro.
for him.
It's not set in stone right now. I want to let it simmer a little bit, but I want my
Whoever,
name to be that
Grayson, let's
title.
make a bet. I know Grayson's gonna bet on Hutchinson. Grayson, let's make a bet.
Hutchinson.
Alex Marshall, let's make a bet for Jackson. I don't give a fuck. I want all the smoke. If Jacob's not ops with his guys, I'm ops with their coach. So
Okay.
that's all the shit I'm talking. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm done, Eli. I'm sorry.
Well, let's wrap this thing up. It's been a phenomenal pod. I'm going to enjoy listening back to this one. We're trying to get it out to you as soon as possible. Appreciate you coming on, Jacob. You've been a phenomenal guest. We'll have you back on right after Cnats. I guarantee it, even though Tony doesn't think so. But appreciate you coming on. Peace out.
Yes, I enjoyed it. Appreciate it.